For scapegoats, black sheep and empaths, those of us who feel too much, we find it difficult to turn up in the world as us, to actually express our truth. That's a difficult thing to do for anybody. But for us, it's even harder. That's what this video is on now. It's about the fear that I felt, how it stopped me from turning up in the world, and how I have managed to look at it so that I can turn up in the world as me. My name is Mark. This is The Emotional Alchemist. I help black sheep, scapegoats, and empaths find that connection and joy in life that we're all looking for. Overcome the scapegoat role to get on something we really want. Early on, many of us experienced feelings which had us swallow our actual truth. Now, those feelings, those emotions, and the beliefs behind them are a lot of the reasons that I've had to do a lot of recovery work. And I'll tell you this, I'll start with truth. Today, I really don't think I look very good. I think I look pale, I didn't sleep so well. And I'm like, well, why do I have fear about saying it? Because I do have fear about saying it. And yes, today there's this amazing society that doesn't really care about truth so much. It cares more about what things look like. Generalized statement. But I too have this idea that somehow I have to look good the whole time. I have to sound good the whole time. That's why actually I find it difficult to make videos, because in my mind I'm like, videos need to be perfect. I need to be totally fixed, sorted, box ticked before I can make a video. Obviously that never happens. And all of that stuff was learned by a 6-year-old child, 4-year-old child, the 4-year-old me. If I'm still carrying those beliefs about how I'm supposed to turn up in the world, which I do, I get insights into them. But also, as I get insights into them, the fear comes up. And this is the reason why, in the first place, I started muting myself. On a spiritual level, that blocked my throat chakra, which is because as my truth emotions came up, as I wanted to express myself, I felt fear and shame about doing so, and therefore stopped, and the blockage became here. Now that came to an absolute pinnacle. I'm looking for the word pinnacle. 3 years ago, as I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, which is extreme hypothyroidism. I was in the pharmacy recently, and the pharmacist said, "But that's a woman's disease." And I said, actually, it's a disease for people who find it difficult to express themselves. And I have found that the more I express myself here on camera, and people, and you do say, I love your comments, thank you. It gives me motivation to keep making these videos, because it's not easy. Turning up as me, talking about me, is a difficult thing to do. And my perfections, but the more I do it, the more I feel better in the world. And so it's easier to make videos when I can embrace my imperfection. All I have to do, I don't have to become perfect. This psychotic idea these days that everybody has to be perfect. You have to look perfect, you have to sound perfect. Anybody that isn't perfect should be vilified and just excluded. Well, if you're a scapegoat and a black sheep, you know what that feels like. And yet, when I find friends and others, people that I work with as a coach who have experienced the same thing, we find a connection which links all of us, an internal connection, this which is super strong, because it's, I think, for me, it's on an energetic and emotional and psychic level. There is this, you know how I feel, almost without even having to say it. So that's really, for me, one of the greatest things, is to find other people in my tribe and be open to getting to know them. Because of course, if you have a fear of showing up in the world as you probably have a tendency to hide as well. I'm not on video anywhere on the internet 3 years prior to me starting out making these videos, because I was always too fearful about it. So actually, and it's by finding others, and it was me, I found my coach, and he's like, okay, start making videos. And I'm like, just overwhelming. But it's, the more I do it, the more I speak through my throat chakra, the more I get to know myself and also my fears and my shame, yeah, and I have to be aware of it. But if I can take small actions into that fear, into addressing that shame, what I find most of the time is that although the fear was originally based on something, it doesn't need to be based on anything these days, because it's a paper tiger. I blow it and it falls over. For me, that's great, but I still feel the fear when it comes up. But yet I've made this video and haven't died yet. In fact, I've made a lot of videos and no one criticizes me in the videos, and maybe someone will, but that's always the fear. And for you, what is it that you fear? What is the everyday stuff that comes up which prevents you from turning up in the world? Because you see people and they turn up and they're like, this is me, and they are unashamed of themselves. But for those of us who have been ashamed of ourselves, what is it? How do we get over it? For me, be aware of the fear and the shame and name it. Say it out loud. I know there's this thing, it's like, oh, if you say you're fearful, well, you're going to be fearful. Yeah, but if you don't say it, you're going to carry it. If I want to deny my fears and my low vibration emotions, I can, but I don't think I'm ever going to get over them. Alchemy, the emotional alchemy, is in saying what the fear is, working out where it came from. Okay, yeah, it came from a 6-year-old Mark way back when, who was told this, which is now a belief in my brain that comes up in circumstances, but the belief may or may not be true. And if the belief may or may not be true, that means I can maybe push through the thing that scares me. And the more I do that, the more I find the gold. And so you've taken those low vibration emotions and gone through the process and turned them into gold. For me, that's a big thing. And addressing the physical health stuff, the emotional stuff, and the kind of fear of the spiritual stuff too, because obviously anything to do with spirit is evil and of the devil. That's what I was told. So yeah, I believe that I can find more connection as I speak to you guys, as I make these videos, as I turn up in the world as me. And I don't know what your fears are, but a lot of us have experienced the same thing. And together, as we create more connection between us, we become stronger. And everybody else that has a need to look perfect, well, they can stay with them, and we'll stay with us, with the tribe. Incidentally, in terms of that, there's a Facebook group I set up. It's called the Scapegoat Club, and it's on Facebook. It's a Facebook group to connect with others who have the same experience, but are also, I think, some of the most fun people in the world. That is what I'm really looking for. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. And if there's a video you want me to make a subject on, there's a subject you want me to make a video on, tell me what it is, put it in the comments, and I will do my best if I know about it. Otherwise, I'll find out about it, and I look forward to getting to know you. My name's Mark. This is The Emotional Alchemist. Thanks for watching.